So talking about forgiveness, last week we did this video and we were talking to you guys about forgiveness and not making excuses. Yes, people are going to do you wrong. Yes, people make mistakes. So don't allow someone else's wrongdoing to be your excuse to wallow in that mess for a long time. So if you think about forgiveness, forgiveness is one of those things. It doesn't manifest, it doesn't show up, it doesn't reveal itself. The fact that forgiveness has happened does not reveal itself until after the fact, right? Either you're constrained, hamstringed by your past, or you've moved beyond your past. Either you're still stuck in a moment, Bono, and you can't get over it, like I like that song, or you're beyond the moment and you move past it and you learn and you forgive and you've let go. I mean, I think about my life. I think about people in my life who have hurt me. Our relationship did not end in an ideal way. We did not get to experience closure with one another, even if it was closure to say, you know what, I don't think we're going to be friends anymore or whatever, right? And rarely in life do you get to experience what I would call that like scientific like control group closure, you know what I'm saying, where it's this facilitated kind of an environment. And here's my thing, and this is what I want to say to you guys today. What I want to say to you guys today is, yes, people will hurt you, but what are you going to do after the fact, right? I get asked this question all the time, and the question is, John, what makes you different? You grew up the way that you grew up. A lot of people grow up the way that you grew up, but what makes you different? You never met your biological father. You grew up in an abusive household. You had this, and this, and 57 million obstacles in the way, but somehow you got here. What makes you different? And up until recently, like today, I've not been able to give an answer to the question, what makes you different? But I think today I figured out the answer to the question. I don't quit pushing against weight in life. And here's what I mean by that. I can look back over my life and I can recount moments where, man, I was, stuck in the bed for a couple days, or just sad, or almost mourned with grief at the loss of a friendship, or at the conclusion of a relationship that went sideways, or this kind of a thing. And I think about those times, and in retrospect, I owe those people and those moments a debt of gratitude, and I'm going to tell you why. It's those moments I chose to not quit. I chose to not fail or fall under the weight of the moment. I chose to push against the moment, and I chose to keep going. I didn't choose to get stuck. So here's the big idea. The big idea is you're going to get stuck in the moment, or you're going to move past the moment. So I think about people in my life where I could look back and just have, visceral or just anger or even hatred toward people in my life who've hurt me, or who've done different things or whatever, or who've offended me in some way, or like whatever. I could look back and I could have feelings of anguish or animosity or frustration or rah. I could do that, but that's not helpful. But when I look back today, not ever having met my biological father led me to be a guy who wanted, like my mantra was, my wife's gonna know her husband, my kids are gonna know their dad. Like I'm that guy partly today because I never met my biological father. I think about people in business who have let me down, and professional relationships that have gone sideways. And I could be just angry or spewing over those things, but instead I can look back with gratitude and say, because of those relationships, and because of what I learned about the other, and because of what I learned about myself, man, today I lead an organization where we get to serve kids all over the U.S. We've been blessed with resources and finances to have a staff and a team. We get to do all the kind of stuff that we get to do. And it's like, wow. And we get to do that based partly because the failed relationship experiments along the way. The times where I've got it wrong, or the times where others have got it wrong. So, my encouragement, you can either get stuck in a moment that you can't get past, or you can keep pushing against the heavy that comes into your life until you grow that muscle that helps you keep moving. There's a sign on the trail back a little ways that says walkers have the right of way. And as long as you're still moving, you have the right of way, man. As long as you're still making progress, you're in it. As long as you're moving, you're in it. So keep moving. Get up. Propel yourselves forward. Choose to not be stuck in a moment that you can't get out of. You've got to get yourself together. Yeah, there's been some hard times, but man, you've got this, and you can move forward, and you can march on too. That's my encouragement today. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Find some hand sanitizer and wash your hands. And you know what? Before too long, we'll see you at your school or at your event or wherever, face to face along the way. I hope you guys are well. God bless. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Okay, well, the way I've figured out how to thrive, find a skill that you can implement at home. You don't need anyone's help. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need anyone's money. You do have, a check from Trump you could start with, which I did. I added it into my account. I've already tripled it. I use currency as my market. You could use investing, because everything's plummeting, everything's coming up. What goes down must come up. The market can only go up, down, and sideways. So what I do is I trap price. Price breaks, the ceiling becomes a floor. It's going to go up. If price breaks the floor, becomes the ceiling, it's going to go down. It can only go down or up. It can only go sideways for so long. That's how I've been able to flourish in this market. I've made more money now that this pandemic has happened than I did before, so you can kind of turn something really bad into a blessing. It's not a blessing, but you could either complain about it and make excuses and, I can't do this, I can't do that, or you could say, I can do this, I can do that, because no one can tell you what you can and can't do except for yourself. And all it takes is the desire to do it and, the will to do it. So that's my encouragement today.
Where did you learn how to trade currency?
I started trading stocks when I was 17, and then I got into currency about 1.5 years ago. I joined a company, they taught me, and then I kind of was like, hey, I've got to be different. I've got to become different to make different. So I started branching off, learned one strategy, and I've stuck with it for ever since, and it's profitable now. You start out with small amounts of cash. You get, for like 6 months straight, I was only making $30 to $40 a day, and now I'm, way more, but I don't want to go into that, but that's how I started. So when you start small, it's obviously going to grow over time. So it's just, if you stick with it, it's impossible to fail, because you just keep going and going and going and going. And if you never give up on something, then you'll never fail at it, technically.
Do you still basically practice the same things today as you did when you started?
Every day.
Fundamentals?
Yeah, technical analysis. I wake up, watch Bob Proctor, do spiritual development, read the Bible, watch affirmations, because that's really important. Trading is 95% your brain and then 5% reading the charts. You got to know that you can do it before you can even do it, because if you look at a trade and you're like, oh, I can't do it, you're not going to do it. Whether you think you can or whether you think you cannot, you are correct.
Have you ever failed along the way?
Oh yeah, I've lost thousands.
All right, what was your worst moment in terms of money?
I fell asleep and lost, I lost a couple $1,000.
Falling asleep?
At 2 a.m. I was marking up the charts. I placed 2 trades and I literally fell asleep. And when I woke up 6 hours later, I had blown the whole account. Yeah.
So what did you learn from that?
Don't fall asleep. Set a stop loss. Every trade, stop loss. And just follow your gut. You know, everyone that, if you place a trade, you're placing a trade against someone else that thinks they're correct. So, you know, if 9 out of 10 traders are wrong, just analyze what the 9 out of 10 traders are doing, do the opposite. So, you know, just stick to the simple stuff because it's really not hard. At first it's really hard, but you know, a year in, it can pay your bills or give you extra money.
If somebody wants to find you to talk about this stuff, where can they go to find you?
You can go to my Instagram, Milligan_Anthony. You just DM me, that's fine.